Oh, fuck me. God damn it. That's for our peak, where I could even actually do a literal. Maybe not. Maybe not.
Get over here!
Well, I'm John.
I'm Will. And we just watched a indie art house flick that you might not know of called Mortal Kombat.
Mm-hmm. On the old HBO Max archives.
Ultimately, first impressions of the movie, you didn't come into it really thinking that there was much. You don't know Mortal Kombat as much, so you're coming at it from more of a movie cinematic standpoint than probably
Right, so
I was coming into it.
Right, so I've played a little bit of the games. I've mostly played MK9. This is actually the second time I viewed the film. I watched it once the night it came out, just this last Friday, with a friend of ours over in Tennessee. And yeah, so it was pretty fresh. Like, I've seen the original film, which came out in... What year did it come out? I want to say...
Oh, in the mid-90s, 1995, and I knew that the whole time. So...
They're amateurs.
Yep, and Annihilation came out in 1997.
The one that was not so good.
Right.
A little back frame on anyone who hasn't seen those movies. They were both... I don't know, they were kind of loose in the game. The acting was... The first movie was okay for as far as B movies go. It's a solid B movie. Christopher Lambert is as Raiden.
Highlander, yep.
Mortal Kombat Annihilation, on the other hand, was the sequel with pretty much an entire recast of characters, basically direct to video, and it was a steaming pile of trash. What did you think of it in general? Because I was pretty satisfied. I thought it was a little not as big a scale as I thought it was going to be. Because they're definitely setting it up for some sequels.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think it had a lot of heavy lifting to do. And a lot of world building to do, because it's both trying to please these fans of the video games as well as this, new audience, whoever ends up seeing this movie, and it has to work for both audiences. And I think he did a pretty good job at that.
As someone, I guess a little background, I've played a lot of the Mortal Kombat games, so I know the plot, I know the lore pretty well. And I'm not going to take it very seriously. I think it's all kind of bad kung fu movie B-plot gone on for many, many sagas. I think they handled it all pretty well. I think they almost did a better job of conveying emotion and like tension than the games do in this one, which was nice. It was nice to see. So it's going to have its own little niche, I think.
Yeah.
The first movies were just made me want to just play Mortal Kombat with later games.
And I haven't played as much of the games as you, and I shouldn't assume, but I mean, I would imagine the cut scenes are less emotional and more to the point and probably expositional.
Some of them. The new one's gotten a little better because they're doing like full face cap, mocap stuff like that with actors and stuff. Like it's it's very high budget and stuff. But
cool.
Ronda Rousey's voice acting as Sonya is not fantastic, but that's where they get an MMA fighter / hack to do a voiceover because star power and all that. They like the star power thing in Mortal Kombat. They like the cameos. They like the Freddy, the Jason Voorhees.
Right, and they run in like Predator, and they run in Alien as well.
God, yeah, that was so fucking cool.
So as far as like video game accuracy, what would you say were like the biggest departures from the story in the video games? Again, assuming that there's like a continuity to the video games. I'm sure
there are. Well, they do. The first three kind of go through a three like. The first one's the tournament structure. The second one is like the second tournament, but with Shao Kahn, the big dude is with the hammer, is the new big bad. And the third one's like the Avengers flick, where they all go to war with Outworld and everything goes to shit. And I guess it's almost sort of less Avengers, more kind of DC Apocalypse. This one, as spoilers, maybe we rearrange it somewhere like, but Sub-Zero, heavy spoilers here. Sub-Zero is the final boss of this one, not Shang Tsung like in the first game. It was the Bi-Han kind of low key, but it was Bi-Han Sub-Zero, which means his brother Kuai Lang is probably gonna come back and be like, "Hey, I'm good Sub-Zero now and less scary, and gonna help you guys with cool ice powers." And
he's gonna team up with the Avengers.
I bet he's gonna.
Shang Tsung's
he's gonna. Frozone and Mr. Incredible and are all gonna team up, and they're gonna take on Shao Kahn. But maybe that's in the third movie. I think they're going to do the Shang Tsung big bad thing in the second one, and that's going to be the tournament. Because I think they're really getting our dicks hard for the tournament.
Right, because they weren't just teasing Shao Kahn, they were teasing Shang Tsung.
They're teasing Shang Tsung. I thought Shang Tsung was going to be the big bad of this.
Right, so that makes sense that he would be the antagonist of the second one.
And if they do a third, if this makes enough money and this doesn't all go to hell in the second one...
which would be a really bummer.
That'd be a bummer, because this really has potential. They would probably have Shao Kahn after that. I don't know if they would do any Shinnok or Onaga stuff. Maybe they'll take it in that realm with some other big bads or whatever. I think Shinnok is going to be in there, though, too. Because I saw the fucking Shinnok amulet was just in the scene as like a throwaway prop. But if you've played the games, you're like, it was the most accurate prop in the entire thing to the game.
There are not many of them.
Oh, fuck. That's Shinnok's amulet.
Must train harder.
I don't know what that means.
Because if you
So
fail,
what does that mean?
Shinnok is like a rogue elder god who, I think he's the final boss in Mortal Kombat 10 and in some of the spin-off ones, like maybe Armageddon, I don't... But, his power like resides with this amulet, and I think he gets his head fucking cut off, and then Raiden gets the amulet, and then in Mortal Kombat 11, Raiden's all Dark Raiden now, or he's still a good guy, but he's all anti-hero, fucking Machiavellian Raiden.
Yeah.
Where he's a good guy, but at any cost, and he's an asshole. Yeah. And his lightning is red now. That's the important part.
Oh, okay. It's red. Wow.
So I think there's a lot of foreshadowing, and they threw a lot of bones in there for people to play the games.
Yeah. Well, one thing I kind of want to go off on here is like this movie kind of reminded me of a lot of attempted franchises that have come out recently. It reminded me of that Power Rangers movie that came out a while back, which failed miserably. But it also reminds me of like this recent MonsterVerse with like Godzilla v Kong. Those 4 movies. This tight little franchise that actually worked. I do think Mortal Kombat is better than those movies, actually, except for I think Kong Skull Island is pretty badass.
Yeah, I really like Kong Skull Island. I haven't seen Godzilla v Kong yet.
Oh, really? It's worth watching. I mean, the human element, it's pretty slow, but like the action scenes are worth waiting for. Mortal Kombat was paced a lot better and moved a lot.
Mortal Kombat is just like, this scene's getting a little actually emotional, a little dramatic. Yeah.
Well, there's a murder. There's also more world building
great.
and more.
There's a lot of world building.
There's a much bigger ensemble of characters to look forward to.
A lot of cool sets, a lot of cool.
And another thing it reminded me of was like the Apes trilogy that came out recently. Like that was a really awesome like spin-off franchise that was tight. I think those movies are better than Mortal Kombat, but I think that the Godzilla v Kong quadrilogy is not as good as Mortal Kombat. So this is kind of somewhere in the middle, and if we get a trilogy...
Well, we'll see where it goes. We'll see if it
exactly. Like if we get a little...
builds off of this right, or if it crashes and burns.
Exactly. Like I hope it doesn't. I hope we get a nice little concise franchise here that falls somewhere in between like the Apes trilogy and this like Godzilla v Kong MonsterVerse in quality. And those are 2 random examples.
And see if it
the first ones
reboots a little better than... I just don't... I hope this isn't like a a Star Wars situation where we see Force Awakens and we're like, ooh, this is really promising. It could go up from here, and then, well, you know the.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like a balance of fan service and like an actual attempt at storytelling.
Well, yeah, they do. This new character, I'm surprised I didn't hate. Markiplier.
Cole Young, yes.
Yeah, because I thought, okay, I heard this name, Cole Young, we have a new character we're going to focus on. I thought he was going to be like some generic American white guy, army maybe. They were just going to take another... Usually, they really have like... They can use the special forces angle of Mortal Kombat to just shit out characters if they want to. So that's what I thought they were going to do. And it wasn't at all. They did this whole Bloodline Hanzo Scorpion thing with him. And he's like little Scorpion Jr., but he's also Black Panther.
It was interesting that they pushed Scorpion to the forefront and didn't present him as a villain, like you were saying.
Yeah, usually Sub-Zero... Well, it was sort of like Scorpion... I think it was like... Older Sub-Zero, Bihan kind of sucks. Scorpion kind of is a warrior family guy. He gets killed, all that. So Scorpion comes back as a Revenant, and he fucking sucks now. Scorpion's an asshole. But then Bihan, he kills Bihan real quick in revenge, and then new Sub-Zero is a lot better guy. So it was more of an everybody sucks here situation in the game, and this is more Scorpion is just some, like, Japanese... samurai farmer man who just got his fucking family slaughtered for like no reason other than some clan war.
Right, he's like fucking Russell Crowe in Gladiator for a minute.
Yeah.
Then he comes back as Freddy Krueger later on.
Yeah.
But Cole Young, I mean, the actor was fine. I thought physically he was a really good actor.
Yeah, I think he did that.
The character wasn't that interesting, but I liked him physically, and I liked the new abilities that the arcana that they brought to the character. I thought that was cool.
I think the arcana was a good way to explain why all these characters are like somewhat magically powerful or whatever.
Right, and how that's tied to the tournament and like Shang Tsung and all
to
of that.
Scrub away some of the really normie characters with no powers. That it's like, how can he take a punch from this fucking guy and get not
right?
Like,
and well, aside from the Hanzo Hasashi Scorpion lineage and the cool Black Panther armor and all of that, I thought Cole Young was a pretty like hollow protagonist, though, and I don't.
He was
I don't care about him moving forward. I think he was good for this movie and to introduce us to the world and give us like an exposition dump. He was a vessel for the audience, so that all the other familiar characters could explain to both Cole and the audience what's going on, which is a very common thing in these types of stories.
You need the blank slate character to dump all this.
Yeah.
This whole franchise worth of shit.
And I think what we're going to get is like a Finn situation from Force Awakens, where it's like he works in the first movie, but if we're planning a trilogy, 2 and 3, what do you do with Cole Young? They're just going to throw him in the trash and push him aside. Like, what else do you do with the guy?
No, I mean they had potential. They had
build this connection with Scorpion, but
they had a lot of potential for Finn, to be sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He was the best part of Force Awakens.
Just didn't like Finn.
Is that what happened?
No, I would cut this part out. But he was too.
Hey, you fucking beauty!
Too black for Star Wars. So write him out.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with Cole Young, but I don't care about him. He was a good vessel for the audience to enter this universe, and good for part 1, but 2 and 3, either kill him off.
What if they just fucking kill him off? Yeah, or
I don't really care. Like, now we know the characters that we know and love, so let's just stick with those guys. And that being said, if they like really stick with the familial element of Cole Young and Scorpion's relationship, I think that will really help for the trilogy. And if they just really like stick with that and just like drive it home that way, I think it's either that or like you said, just kill him off and do away with him in the second.
Kill one of the two of them off.
Yeah,
but Scorpion's already dead, so he can just come back from hell. Fuck it.
Right, but I also think that like if they do kill him off, then it's kind of a waste for the first movie to even have an expositional vessel for the audience. You know, it's like why bother? So it's like just stick with it, and then use that to make Scorpion a stronger character. That's what I think.
Yeah, you could do that.
That's just.
Or they could just have him become Rey. Just give him a whole shitload of powers. Just more powers each movie.
Yeah, there we
have
go.
him just become. And then add him to the game and make him the
Yeah.
pay-to-win broken character.
He'll go and bury the blade in the desert and be like, "My name is
Bury
Cole Hasashi."
And bury his tonfa in the sand.
Yeah.
Cole Skywalker. Cole Danger. He's gonna call himself Cole Danger from now on.
Cole Danger. Hey, the robots are relevant for this video.
Oh, that's true.
Why can't I?
Because if you can do the uppercut, it's like the spine uppercut brutality.
I'm really trying here.
I don't know. Go call it. Yeah, brutality.
We did it.
Did it.
We did it. There was no tournament. There was no tournament in this
Yeah, that's the big. That was the big. I want to touch on that.
Mm-hmm.
There is no tournament in the game. I think, or movie. I almost said game, just because this whole fucking thing is like a big dumb video game.
Right, that kind of plays into like our prediction of the structure of a potential future trilogy, if that does happen.
Yeah. So, I think they're saving the tournament and the Shang Tsung thing for the second one.
Yeah, I think that makes perfect sense. Like it's
And I think it's gonna be all, we cleared it all up, and then Shao Kahn's gonna step in and be like, "It was me all along," and then there's gonna be movie 3, and he's gonna kill somebody. Because that was the big thing, like the Mortal Kombat 2 thing was like, or at least in like the retread of it in 9 was like Kung Lao's there. He pretty much like wins the tournament, and then Shao Kahn, who's watching from the thing, he just gets up from the chair and breaks his fucking neck, and it's just like, oh no.
Yeah. Bonkers.
So yeah, if they do something like that, that'd be really dope.
Yeah, I mean, this movie was pretty gutsy, so I'm hoping that the stakes
Yeah, he just kills
continue.
stuff. Oh,
like, I hope people just
like, we should.
Oh yeah, we gotta talk about that too. We gotta talk about who died and who didn't,
died
and who
and who-
potentially died.
Yeah. So
firstly, Goro died. Like,
Goro
got Denzo
got
McGee'd.
Goro got fucking like poor guy, man. He got fucked up.
Yeah. We got Anakin, and then he got and then he got through the eye with the, what do you call it?
With the, was it a ton? He had like a tonfa, I think, but one of them was sort of like, he had like a dull tonfa for beating people up, and then he had like a sharp.
Am I thinking of Kano?
Tonfa.
What happened? How did Goro die? He got his
Oh
hand.
no, Kano killed the presumably reptile near the beginning. We talk about.
I'm talking about Kano's death. No, I'm saying Goro's. How did Cole Young defeat Goro?
He just brutally, he like eviscerated him and skewered his eye out and just did all. He fucked him up bad.
He fucked him up bad.
I think it was like a combination of, he like slit him open, he fucking like skewered his head, he cut his hand off. It was all bad. Goro.
I've seen this film twice.
It was really brutal.
So let's talk about Melina.
Melina also
So
got
she got-
fucked up really
Yep.
bad.
She turned into a donut. Yeah.
She got
blasted big time.
which I think Sonya. Well, that was by Sonya, right?
Sonya. No. Wait. Was it Kano? Is it true?
Oh. But wait, Kano was already gone by that point.
He got gnomed.
He got gnomed, yeah.
He got gnomed.
So there's there's a really good shot where Kano spits his gross cum spit on a gnome, and they zoom up on the gnome, and
And at first it's like, oh wow, this is the best shot in the movie. This is hilarious and disgusting.
yeah.
And then, what is it, like 10 minutes later? It's a bit later.
Oh, it's a little later.
Yeah, it's a bit later.
They go back to Sonya's shitty fucking trailer, and,
Right.
and
they
fight,
which
and
is one of the best
destroy.
fights in the movie.
That was like the best.
Pretty fucking raw.
They just beat
and
the fuck out of each
Right.
other with every
No-
single piece of
hardly
scenery
any
they
CG,
can.
if any. Like it was just
No.
brutal combat.
They got a whole bunch of breakaway objects, and they pummeled each other with them, and then
Right.
so the gnome makes a
Right,
a
so
bookend reappearance.
Exactly, yeah.
By getting stuck through Kano's fucking eye.
It was unexpected foreshadowing is what it was, and yeah, he gets gnomed.
He gets gnomed real good.
He's
presumably dead, but if anyone's played the game, Kano's got like a robot eye, where he's got like he's a cyborg. But, which is weird, and that's usually, I think, why he's got the eye laser. But in this, he already magically has the eye laser from his fucked up eye. So
the Arcana.
The Arcana, yeah, he's got the Arcana, just like how Sonya can do her techno blasts just naturally without like a bracelet. I think she normally has like a wrist thing that does it.
Right. Which kind of looks like the thing in the Shang-Chi trailer. Did you see that?
Yeah.
The rings. I think that's the actual Mandarin that has that ring thing.
Yeah, I'm excited for potential real Mandarin.
Yeah, same. Also another magical combat movie, but family friendly, guys.
Yeah,
not Mortal Kombat.
For you fucking...
But also coming out this year, so that's cool.
Yeah, no, take your kids to it. It's pretty good.
Cabal was a fun surprise character.
Cabal was, yeah.
He was not in the trailers. Right.
Yeah, no, he's not in the trailers at all.
Yeah. You're thinking he'll come back in the sequel as
I think
charred Cabal.
Yeah, well, because he's all burninated in a lot of his iterations.
Like Trogdor.
Yeah. He's all burninated, and I guess they already established in this that he's got an iron lung because of Kano.
Right. Yeah, so...
In the game,
like
sometimes
a literal iron, like a lung made of iron, not like
the big. Yeah, clearly he's got like some
not
sort
like
of
Arthur Digby Sellers in The Big Lebowski.
Yeah,
because he has health problems.
Is he still right?
Oh, no. He has health problems.
So literal iron.
He has health problems.
Branded, dude. Branded.
No, he has more of the Darth Vader iron lung setup.
Okay,
I think where it's all internal.
Mm-hmm. He does look like a Star Wars character.
He does.
I wonder if they're gonna bring in
But they did his like.
What are they called? What are the robot guys called?
Cyber Linkway. Yeah, they're like more of Sub-Zero's clan people, but they're like.
No, what the fuck are they called?
Robots, cyborgs.
What are their names? There are two.
Well, the two ones are Cyrax and Sector.
And yes, that's their names. Thank you.
Cyrax is the yellow one who's usually not a bad guy and sometimes is, but Sector is the red one who's like always a bad guy.
Did you ever see that YouTube series that came out? I want to say like almost a decade ago now. Like it was like a fan film series, web series of Mortal Kombat. It was like maybe like 8-10 episodes on YouTube. They were only like 10-minute episodes. Pretty damn short, but the quality was fucking like for YouTube. And they had this really awesome Cyrax and Sector fight. It was all CGI. And this was around the time where like there was the Transformers movies and the Iron Man movies. There was all this mechanical, metallic like CG that was getting really good. And they were able to do this independently. So you never checked that out? You never?
No, I'm gonna go check that out.
Yeah. I forget. I can't remember the creator's name, but yeah, it was a really big deal at the time because there hadn't been anything since the 95 and 97 movies. But now there is. So yeah.
Because I feel like we haven't talked about Sub-Zero much. He's like the focal point of this movie almost.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's an unexpected antagonist. Yeah.
Which again, this is beyond the first Sub-Zero, so it's a more morally ambiguous one. Mm-hmm. But he's just in this one there's no ambiguity to it. He's just a fucking murderer.
Villain. Yeah.
And they did a cool take that I was not expecting with him, where I wondered if the director, the just producers, had worked with horror much or not.
Well, I noticed James Wan produced this movie, which is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, that might have had something to do with it.
Kicked off the Saw franchise and Insidious and The Conjuring, and he did Aquaman. He's a really, really well-known director right now. Starting off in horror and kind of branching off into more mainstream action type of stuff. So it's very fitting for him to be, attached to this movie. And like you were starting to say there, he definitely brought a cool and enjoyable horror element to Sub-Zero's character that we weren't really expecting.
It's so they did a lot of really suspenseful shots involving the Sub-Zero suit scenes where he comes in Or you know he's coming a little bit beforehand, and they don't tell you that you can just tell because it either gets too cold. They have a mid scene where they mention it. It's July. Why is there snow? And
you got these people in shorts like, what's going on?
Windows start to frost over. It gets, you can see people's breath, stuff like that.
Exactly.
And but then every time you once you start to see little signs of it happening before the audience, almost before the characters, it's like, oh fuck, here we go. Because there's a lot of Sub-Zero versus somebody fights in this.
Yeah.
Like, this is
It's a lot of
Sub-Zero's
what he wants
fucking
to-
movie.
For sure, yeah. And I definitely, it reminded me of a lot of familiar things, like the Dementors in Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. When they show up, everything gets cold, starts to freeze over. It reminded me of the Night King in Game of Thrones a little bit too.
Yeah. I think it's finally we're forward enough in like movie making technology and or even just practical and CG digital effects where we can do Sub-Zero right, where the ice looks really good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And I almost think his like hand ice stuff was practical. There was a lot of practical. There was definitely like
There's a nice blend.
There's a nice blend of practical and CGI, where some of the more stylistic blood stuff was CGI.
Yes.
But they had big fat squibs.
Right,
Which
yeah.
I thought it was going to be all digital blood and shit, and I was going to just get taken out of it. And
Just talking about that first 7-minute sequence that was released on YouTube ahead of time. Like, there's the sequence where the knife comes through the window and drags down, and that looked like a squib. That was all practical.
that was all
But
definitely.
then you also have that other sequence where Scorpion has the blade on the rope and he's taking down all the guys, and he stabs the guy in the top of the head, and the blood just rushes down his whole face
Yeah,
and body
that's-
like a
that's-
fountain. It was like that was CG. Like that was like
I don't know.
straight-
I think the blood down the face was practical. I think they dumped a bunch of jelly down his face, but then the splatter was CG. I don't know.
I don't know, man. It was a wide enough shot. You can't really. It's
Maybe.
I don't know.
The really gratuitous shit is CG, where it's flying everywhere.
like the
and
Kung Lao
staying
table
everywhere.
saw fatality. Was
Yeah. Well, you
fantastic,
need
yeah.
some of that for the blood flying around, because you just can't have a prolonged squirty squib like that without hooking it up to a pump or something
Right,
like that with
right.
that much blood.
Yeah.
It's too much blood for a squib, so like,
Yeah.
I understand. They have the limitations of...
Yeah, but
But
like,
they did squibs
yeah.
where it was tasteful to do it.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, like overall thoughts. I thought it was a really cool introduction to this universe for like a live action adaptation of a video game. Like I know this is I've only seen this twice and this just came out, but I almost want to go as far as saying this is the best, if not one of the best, video game adaptations. Like,
Yeah.
maybe we'll revisit it later, but for now, this is like this is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I don't...
and I want to see more.
I haven't seen Mila Blakovich's fucking Monster Hunter yet, but I feel like this is going to be
W.S. Anderson's next big hit. Yeah.
I feel like that's probably not going to be as good as this. But
Actually,
I think
he's got another movie coming out called Hunter Monster, and it's
Hunter
quite-
Monster.
quite
That's
different.
a very
it's very
that's
original.
a very riveting title. Is it Hunter Monster, or is it one of those subtitle things where it's Hunter Monster?
It's Hunter, comma Monster. Like
So it is a subtitle.
Or
So it's
iRobot, right? So it's like
iRobot Revenge.
right. Exactly.
But yeah, I think
That's what happens when Paul W.S. Anderson reads an Isaac Asimov novel and he gets inspiration.
Oh no!
And he's like, "Babe, you gotta read this. Babe, you gotta read this. I got a roll for you, sweetheart." It definitely doesn't fucking sound like that. But
No.
yeah. Hey, Mila.
I'm just if this schlock, she'll take the fucking role.
Yep.
Just
Just like Sherry Moon Zombie.
oh,
They're
I
the same.
God bless that
entity.
woman.
Yep.
What do you want to see going forward in this, friend? What is it?
I don't know enough
I want
about.
to see both of our perspectives on
I-
this. From a movie perspective, what would you like to see them play with?
I don't know enough
More
about
of, less of?
the video games to know what the fans would want to see, but what I would want to see based on what I got is I want them to flesh out Cole's character, make him an actual character, build up his connection to Scorpion, introduce this new Sub-Zero that you're talking about.
Yeah, I feel like the next movie or so is going to be really focal on Kuai Lang.
And I wanted to focus on the tournament. And then just keep. I don't think
big dumb Avengers movie for the third one.
I only think like the MCU structure. I only think they should introduce maybe 2 or 3 new characters in the sequel. I want them to focus on these core characters, but also introduce Johnny Cage. If they're gonna focus on any new character in the sequel, focus on Johnny Cage.
Yeah,
and then focus on the tournament, and then the third one, do this big bombastic apocalyptic thing with Shao Kahn and. Yeah, but also bring it home. Maybe 4 movies even, because it's like
maybe,
a 4-act structure, kind of like the Godzilla.
But I almost feel like that would just be doing the third
Yeah.
movie as like a part 1, part 2 Twilight Saga bullshit.
Right, but I mean a 3-act structure is just a 4-act structure. It's just your second act is in 2 parts with a midpoint. So it's like 3 or 4 movies, but that's max. Don't go beyond that. I think that's stretching it.
I want to see more character development with who we got already. I feel like we got a taste of that. Again, I think Kano's going to come back with the... They were intentional on that. Kano's going to... They knew he was going to be a fan favorite.
He's got to be de-gnomed.
He's got to be de-gnomed and roboted with a Terminator eye.
Yes.
And he's going to come back. And he's probably going to pee on something in the sequel or something like that because he's gross. And I want, more fan service. I want a spine rip. I want a just good, honest to God fucking spine rip.
Maybe they're holding back on that one.
I think they are. Yeah. They want.
There were so one side note. Sorry, I know we're wrapping this up, but I feel like there were a lot of things that alluded to a sequel. So it would be almost surprising.
We didn't talk about the Johnny Cage.
If they weren't contracted for a sequel, it's almost surprising that there were as many things written into the script as there were that foreshadowed and kind of branched these little arms out into the greater world of this. You know what I mean? If we're not going to visit those areas, it was almost... There were a lot of little moments of dialogue and interactions that were like, There's a lot of alluding to things that have yet to come.
I think they're going to bring Johnny Cage into it because Sonya... I mean, they usually... I don't know if they're going to play it up or if they're going to subvert it, but there's the Johnny Cage-Sonya romance angle usually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They treat each other, they hate each other, but they love each other kind of thing. Because Johnny Cage is an asshole and Sonya's rough around the edges. But Johnny Cage has the potential to be the best character in the next movie if they introduce him right.
I think that's the character that they choose a well-known actor for.
Yes. I think they're going to do somebody that someone who's... They gave a lot of really nice opportunities to actors that know...
Yes, that was another thing we didn't really touch on. Was a lot of up and coming names.
Got a lot of East Asian actors. A lot of they're probably in a lot of movies. Not that not the Western audience is probably not released over here.
Right.
But
and then there was a guy that played Hanzo Hasashi Scorpion, which I think I recognize from. He's in Avengers Endgame, I believe.
Oh, really?
I believe he's one of the Yakuza that Hawkeye.
Ronan
takes down.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've seen him in a few other movies too, but I can't think of his name off the top of my head. But
yeah, I think that's about all I got on that.
Yeah,
it was a good movie. It was pretty. It was good. It was kind of dumb, which is what I wanted it to be, but it was smarter than I thought it was going to be too. It was very well, tastefully put together. I'd give it a.
I think it played it safe in a lot of areas, but
it did.
But it didn't. But it wasn't so safe. It was still ballsy. It was ballsy yet safe.
Yeah. I think maybe they don't want to water down. They don't want to make the sequels seem underwhelming by going all out.
Definitely, and they very easily could have given us everything in one movie, and they didn't do that.
And they didn't, and that made it less messy. If they tried to do everything at once, it would have been a messy movie.
Yep.
So
which I think is what the 95, 97 films were.
So I like the kind of groundedness of final boss fight, Sub-Zero in a frozen over dingy gym.
Yeah. In this chain link frozen over octagon, which was a really cool setting.
But it's the same gym, MMA gym, where Cole Danger gets tapped out at the beginning.
Yep.
Yeah, no. I enjoyed it. I want to see more, and I hate to wait for it because COVID has been.
Same dog. And that's like almost all the HBO Max movies that are coming out this year. We got Godzilla v Kong. We got Mortal Kombat. What else did we? There was another one that came out. There have been a few.
We had the Zack Snyder.
Yep, we got the Snyder cut, but and the one that's left is Dune, and I refuse to watch Dune on my fucking TV. So I'm gonna
What are you, David Lynch? you can't watch Dune on a fucking TV.
Who gives a fucking shit how long a scene is?
What is this with everybody?
No.
What is it? Really?
Only me. It's
Why?
my fault.
I'm serious. Fucking A, man. It drives me nuts. Who gives a fucking shit how long a scene is?
I will drive out of state to see Dune in the theater. I don't give
I'll
a damn.
see it.
It's what Villeneuve wants. It's what I want. Anyway, Mortal Kombat 2021. Fuck yeah.
I would recommend it. I think.
Yep.
I'd go see it.
I'm
Theaters,
not giving a rating because
ratings are numbers are dumb. Was it fun? Was it good? Yeah. Go see it. You don't necessarily need to see it in theaters. I don't think it'll be lost on you if you don't. Yeah. It's a good have some beers with your friends.
If you have the opportunity to see it in the theater, go for it. We're in a pandemic.
The special effects are really good.
We're in a pandemic. See it on a big screen, but if you don't, it's not the end of the world.
No, it's good. 2-3 friends together.
It's worth a little look-see and a couple beers on your telly at home. So
get a 12-pack. Buckle up. Yeah.
Yep.
I am Sub-Zero.
Kano wins.